Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the highly lucrative yet pretty demanding world of Guidewire PolicyCenter careers. If you've been looking into enterprise IT roles, you've probably heard the whispers, right? The massive salaries, the intense demand for this specific niche. Well, today, we're giving you the unvarnished truth about what this platform actually is, why companies fiercely protect this talent pool, and exactly how you can break in. Let's get into it. Let's kick things off with this massive number right out of the gate. $1.147 billion. That was Guidewire's annual recurring revenue as of April 2026. This isn't just some speculative, maybe someday growth. This is locked-in, continuous cash flow from over 570 insurance carriers globally. When you're picking a career path, you want to hitch your wagon to a platform with undeniable market penetration. And honestly, this number proves Guidewire is the absolute heavyweight in the insurance tech space. So, to navigate this landscape, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start inside Guidewire PolicyCenter, look at the billion-dollar demand, break down the roles and required skills, give you a real salary reality check, talk about cloud and certification, and finally, lay out exactly how to get started. First up, Section 1, inside Guidewire PolicyCenter, the core of P&C insurance. So, what exactly is it? Unlike generic apps or, basic front-end web development, PolicyCenter is the actual engine where an insurer's products live. It's a policy administration system managing the complete life cycle of a property and casualty insurance policy. When an insurer quotes a commercial auto policy or maybe renews a complex workers' comp program, PolicyCenter is the system processing those real-world transactions. It handles the underwriting rules, the pricing, the document generation, literally the core business logic that allows an insurance company to function and actually make money. And understanding this next concept is absolutely crucial. Guidewire is designed heavily around configuration over customization. Basically, you're using product models, rules, and screens to get the behavior you want rather than completely rewriting core Java code, which honestly is rarely the right answer. Knowing exactly where that line sits between customizing and configuring is what separates a competent Guidewire developer from just an average one. You're molding a massive existing platform to fit a business, not building some app from scratch. Moving on to Section 2, the billion-dollar demand. Why are insurers so desperate for talent? Just take a look at that massive 74% chunk. That is the portion of Guidewire's total recurring revenue coming directly from the cloud as of fiscal 2025. And get this, that specific cloud revenue grew by a whopping 36% in that year alone. The center of gravity for this entire industry has decisively shifted to the Guidewire cloud platform. And that transition, it's generating an absolute tidal wave of new implementation work. So why the absolute hiring frenzy? Well, it's a perfect storm. You've got this aggressive cloud migration paired with insurers who are literally desperate to replace decades-old legacy mainframe systems. Add in platform growth across those 570-plus global insurers, and you get severe skill scarcity. Because this is enterprise software, you can't just learn it on some public free-tier sandbox over the weekend. Access is heavily restricted, the talent pool grows slowly, which creates a massive advantage for the people who actually manage to break in. All right, Section 3, roles and required skills. Let's talk about building your profile. There are several parallel tracks here. You aren't just a generic developer. Roles range from configuration developers focusing on the product model and rating, requiring maybe 2 to 7 years of experience, to integration developers building complex APIs. Then you've got business analysts translating underwriting requirements, all the way up to technical architects handling integration strategy with a decade or more of experience. So whether your strength is deep technical coding or a profound understanding of the insurance domain itself, there's a specific track for you. Let's be crystal clear about what employers actually want. They aren't just hunting for standard Java developers. They want candidates with a unique blend of skills. You need deep technical chops like Java, OOP fundamentals, PolicyCenter data model, SQL, REST and SOAP APIs, and Guidewire's specific proprietary JVM language, Gosu. But you have to pair that with a real understanding of the property and casualty insurance lifecycle and underwriting concepts. If you understand how a policy actually renews or cancels out in the real world, your technical skills become 10 times more valuable. Section 4, the salary reality check. Let's bust some myths. If you search online, especially looking at major IT hubs like India, you're going to see wildly conflicting data. You might see a median base of 5.6 lakhs per annum on PayScale, an average of around 8 on Glassdoor, and then boom, an average of over 20 on Six Figure. Why the massive gap? Well, it's because these platforms measure completely different groups. Glassdoor leans toward early career IT services using the generic Guidewire Developer title. Six Figure, on the other hand, captures senior product company profiles of folks actively listing Guidewire as a core skill. So you really can't trust a single headline number. For some radical transparency, here is what the salary data genuinely looks like. Notice the entry-level band. Freshers with 0 to 2 years of experience don't get a magical premium on day one. They're usually in that 3.5 to 6.5 lakh range. But look what happens next. Once you hit that 2 to 5 year mark with real, verifiable delivery experience, the compensation absolutely skyrockets. By the time you reach architect level with 12 plus years, you are commanding top-tier enterprise compensation, easily 30 to 50 plus lakhs, because your skills are incredibly rare and totally vital to the carrier's bottom line. Section 5. Cloud and certification, also known as the gatekeepers. Now, be highly skeptical of anyone promising you independent, guaranteed certification before you're even hired. The reality is, exams are almost always employer-gated. They run through a designated training coordinator. There are basically two tiers, Certified Associate and Certified ACE, and these are absolutely required for cloud implementations. Plus, Guidewire strictly enforces an N-3 policy. That means you literally must pass new exams to stay within 3 versions of the latest software release. So continuous learning, it's a mandatory recurring obligation in this career, not just a one-and-done test. Finally, Section 6, how to get started. Let's build your action plan. Here's a necessary piece of advice for the juniors out there. Freshers typically enter via general IT services intake, not direct entry Guidewire roles. 0 experience openings are exceedingly rare, so your goal isn't to arrive perfectly pre-qualified. Instead, you want to build enough baseline fundamentals so that when an IT services company finally has a Guidewire bench slot open, you are the absolute obvious, undeniable choice to be allocated to that project and trained further. To do that, follow this sequential roadmap. First, master Java, SQL, and P&C insurance basics. Starting with those often ignored insurance fundamentals before you even touch the code is the smartest move you can make. Next, learn PolicyCenter concepts and configuration. Then, grasp GoSu scripting. Step 4, study REST and SOAP integrations. And finally, understand cloud CI/CD fundamentals. When you show an interviewer you understand what a policy cancellation actually means to the business, you instantly build a foundation they deeply respect. The real secret sauce here is skills stacking. A developer who only knows configuration, honestly, they're eventually replaceable. But someone who pairs PolicyCenter configuration with integration experience, or cloud and DevOps understanding, or real insurance domain knowledge, or SQL and data migration, that person is an absolute unicorn. These are the irreplaceable combinations that future-proof your career and unlock those absolute highest salary tiers we looked at earlier. The steep learning curve and highly restricted practice access are exactly what protect the high salaries in this niche. It keeps the talent pool small and incredibly highly valued. So I'll leave you with this final thought based on everything we've unpacked today. The path is clear, and the rewards are undeniably massive. But are you ready to put in the focused work required to cross that barrier to entry? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.